Hey everyone, I'm Charting Man Dan with the Chart Guys, trader and technical analyst, trading cannabis stocks for the last 14 years. We're going to check in on the sector. There's not a lot of strength out there at all. This is still an extremely weak sector, but as I've been saying, I'm focused on Florida only. Why would we not focus on the names that have two dangling carrots rather than just one? And we've got some headlines over the recent past that are certainly helping. Let's check in on the Florida relative strength and where the rest of the sector stands on the charts. Just a quick note, I've been talking about Florida focus for many months at this point. Go to our resources at chartguys.com, check out the Cannabis Hub, and there is some content talking about Florida. There's an MJ fact sheet and guide, Florida's path to cannabis legalization. It's definitely dated at this point. There's a lot of updates, but at least we can look back at time and show this is why I've been focusing on these names a bit more than the other names. And now that they're continuing to show relative strength the entire year, TCNNF has been stronger than MSOS 7 out of 8 months in 2024. That is why. So let's get to the charts. So MSOS, there is nothing bullish about this chart whatsoever. And as always, you know, I tell it like it is, regardless of what I want to happen. And there is nothing bullish about this chart. The broader stock market just had a pretty bearish week this past week. We have tightening ranges forming over the last month of volatility. We'll see how those break, but we are looking at a very clear weekly lower high pattern, and absolutely nothing changes from bear control. Again, I just put on my bear glasses and imagine I have a fat short position and I look at this chart and I say, am I concerned about anything? And the answer is no. And as long as the weekly lower highs keep forming, I was saying it back here, if we do not break 820, the bears have absolutely nothing to worry about. We failed to break 820. We set a new resistance level at 780, and here we are dropping to lower lows. We have been in a weekly downtrend since the end of May. So the end of May, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. It's as clear a downtrend as you can get. We have the EMA resistance guide if the price levels aren't enough for us, and we're looking down at support of 599 and then 492 as the next level after that. As I've been saying for months, my focus is on Florida, and we have a scenario where I like the chart on TCNNF. We'll look at it in just a moment. And we have a scenario where we're aligning fundamentals and technicals to give us very clearly the setup for the rest of the year, in my opinion. So we know the sector had a hard drop when we've got information that we're going to have the hearing from the DEA in December. So that kicks back the timeline of things to potentially take place. But that also shifts focus onto Florida, knowing that Florida is going to vote in November, knowing if Florida passes over 60% of the vote, the target market and the revenue of these Florida-centric companies is going to go multiple X. And that's because your target market expands thousands of percent with tourism and the general population versus what the medical marijuana population is right now. It is a massive difference. So the name like Trulieve that has the very clear lead in that state and already has established, a bit of a moat as far as being the leader and already has brand recognition and already has the storefronts. Again, if you flip that switch into overnight recreational, I don't see how the price doesn't double on the stock. And so that's why I have focused on TCNNF. That's the only name I care about in the sector right now. And until something changes, that's going to remain the case. And so TCNNF, what I love about this chart is I have a very clear invalidation point. Look at this base of support on the weekly chart. We held 803 into continuation. And then after the euphoria top was hit, we held 826. And then on earnings, we held 804. And then just most recently, on the bearish reaction to the kick the can down the road for Schedule 3, we held 843. So I can make a simple statement. If $8 is holding, this chart is just fine. If we lose $8 before the vote, that's a massive red flag to me, and I will size down considerably. So I love the chart to give me a clear invalidation point for my thesis. If this name is going to stay strong for the rest of the year, $8 is going to maintain support. If that changes, then my thesis changes and my position sizing changes. But I've got a solid TCNNF position that I've been building and flipping around over the last bunch of months. And I am looking to add to it because I do still have cash in my cannabis only account. About 60 60% in, 40% cash. And I'm looking to add on daily consolidation here. So we're struggling at 10 psychological. That's not surprising. Nice round number. And I'm looking to add on daily consolidation to get a full position. And then if we break $8, then I will be giving back some profit from the last year of this move up. So really all that's at risk is profit, which is nice. It's always more comfortable when that's the case. And if we see a bear break of 969 to start this week, daily consolidation is underway. I'm going to be watching for first hourly oversold conditions if we keep dropping back down. But again, use the relative strength and weakness charts by comparing TCNNF divided by MSOS. Just hit the strongest it has ever been. So TCNNF just hit the strongest it's ever been compared to MSOS on Tuesday, and then again on Wednesday, and then again on Thursday, and then again on Friday. This information is screaming to us that this is the place to be focusing. And so, as long as we keep this weekly EMA 12, which we've been doing the last bunch of months, we're going to stay stronger. Everything changed when this level broke. And I remember being on the Dales report talking about keep an eye out if this level breaks. That's going to tell us something is changing. And that level broke when we saw confirmation that the vote for legalization was going to happen and it was going to be on the ballot. And that kicked off. I mean, for me, it seems so obvious. I know, it's not the case for everybody, maybe less experience in markets or whatever, but I don't understand why you would be focusing on anything that's not a Florida name right now over the next 4 months. It's just twice the catalyst potential. So I guess we'll stay on Florida. AYRWF. So higher risk, higher reward, more volatility. Very clear weekly downtrend here as well. Lower high, lower high. Most recent lower high is 218. We have to break 218 for something to shift. And I said in a recent video, I'm not trading this name. I've got the name I like and I'm comfortable with. And again, I'm not focusing on the sector much. I watch it throughout the day. I'm not actively trading it. I'll take a true leave trade once every 2 weeks maybe and flip around. But my focus is elsewhere because there is not opportunity in this sector with the way these charts are shaping up, aside from really one name. Hopefully this name as well. But what I said in a recent video is I want to see AYRWF break this level because that would tell me, even though I'm in TCNNF, I want all Florida names to be outperforming, to get all of the market's attention to be focusing on these names. And again, the recent headlines, I guess I haven't mentioned them yet, Trump coming out and not saying I'm voting for Amendment 3, but being very positive around it. And also talking in the future saying, essentially, this will pass and this will, he was talking in a manner where he thinks it's going to pass. And so, now having Roger Stone, I don't care at all about Roger Stone, but people are just following Trump and now being, pro Amendment 3, which is a big sigh of relief. And I talked about in recent videos, depending on what Trump says, because we knew it was coming and we were waiting, I'm either going to size down if he's bearish or I'm going to size up if he's bullish. And that was bullish enough for me to again, the market is probabilities. After Trump's statement, does the probability increase or decrease that Amendment 3 is going to pass? It's very clear, obvious, it increases. Maybe you only think it increases a tiny bit, that's fine, but it increases. And so the market is pricing in that increase, that shift in the probabilities. And so now he has another statement coming out within the next 2 weeks likely where he said he's going to give a bit more detail. So I will not put it past anybody in politics to say the opposite things. In fact, talking about the other vote going on in Florida, I don't want to say the wrong words because then I get flagged on YouTube and my analytics get hit. But the other issue in Florida that's going to be voting on, he flip-flopped in 24 hours. He said something that was for it and then something that was against it. And that's, politicians want to try and appeal to as many people as possible. So I wouldn't put it past, very clearly this is, if you're in favor of cannabis, you've got the numbers on your side in terms of people that are for it. But I wouldn't put it past him walking back his statement a little bit. So you just got to be ready for that as well. Maybe leaning to the other side. I don't know. I'm ready for anything. So the more positive, the more we get the Democrats and Republicans battling over these issues like they did in crypto first. Now they're doing it in cannabis. The more they talk about it, the better it is. And also, the probabilities that Trump would derail rescheduling decreases a bit with the positive statement on, coming out in favor of medical marijuana. I mean, that's worthwhile. GTBIF, simple statement. If weekly EMA 12 is resistant, absolutely nothing changes from bear control. Again, if I'm in a bear swing position for 4 months in this name, I can just make that simple statement. I'll exit when we close over weekly EMA 12. If we're not closing over it, I'm going to keep my short position on. And so here we are hitting the lowest levels of the year. And we're looking at a daily lower high being set. Could this be a bear flag? Absolutely. It's a weak bounce at this point. New resistance level 1022 must break if we're going to confirm a daily uptrend. But again, just a very different looking chart. I mean, you look at TCNNF compared to any name, and it's just going to be going up massively. TCNNF divided by GTBIF just hit on this week the strongest it has been compared to it in almost 2 years, 20 months. Cureleaf, it's going to be crushing it. TCNNF divided by Cureleaf, crushing it. And just got to the strongest it's ever been this week. Cureleaf, there are red flags. We've got a support zone coming up, 251, 257. But again, this is just a big drop. We dropped well over 50% from the euphoria high, from all those rising wedges we were keeping an eye on. And we can bounce 20% and just form a weekly lower high. So just keep in mind that I am not bullish the cannabis sector. I'm bullish Trulieve. That's it. There's a difference. IIPR, again, I'm just baffled that nobody in this sector cares about this name. It is the name that everybody should care the most about because it is the strongest. You're in an uptrend on every time frame. Well, not at this point, but monthly, weekly time frame uptrend. You could even still say daily, but up 100% plus over the last year plus. I just don't get it. People are focusing on the weakest names and disregarding the strongest names. It's wild to observe. Anyways, anything above 107 is a weekly high or low. I don't love the bull break with no follow through, but I also recognize the majority of the market formed a lower high here and is doing that. So it's more bullishly positioned comparatively. And new resistance is 127.36. SNDL, I still love this tightening range. Volatility is coming here. It can definitely break in both directions. You better, if you have this name, you better have a plan for a bull break and a plan for a bear break because it's a 50-50 with the direction that it could break. And actually, it slightly favors the bears just because we're a lot closer to support than resistance. To drop down to key 184 support, we need to drop 14 pennies. To get back to key 225 resistance, we need 27 pennies. That's a decent difference. It's a weekly inside bar. Bulls really want to break 206 this week and set that weekly high or low to keep tightening up in September. And I would expect probably going to break before the end of September. Again, bulls really want to break that 206, confirm the daily uptrend, and set the weekly high or low to keep tightening. CGC is all bears. There is no support here. Weekly lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Just free fall. Yes, it's oversold on the daily. Yes, we'll see a bounce. Yes, we will likely set a lower high. Anything under 547 will just be another lower high. Again, bears jumping all over the gap up to start this week. Sector gapped up because of Trump comments. Clearly, Trump comments are for these specific few names. So not surprising that bears would jump all over that CGC move. Again, there's just no support here. The low of every day, 431, 395. But when you have a dilution chart like this, again, we have a video chart, guys, understanding dilution, and I talk about I forget what I call it now off the top of my head, not a slow bleed, but a perpetual dilution, whatever it is, a chart that looks like this, you get those squeezes because everybody's short as they should be, and then it just starts fading again. I mean, it's just history keeps repeating itself. Look at these penny stocks. MJNA, the first penny stock, first stock I ever bought. Cannabis. I've made a bunch of money on this stock because I learned to sell pops. Look at the history on the monthly time frame for this name. These EMAs are ruining it. So I started trading it in 2010. Pop, give the vast majority back, 80% drop. Pop, 95% drop. These are multiple hundreds, if not thousands of percent pops. But then you give back everything. This one, 2014, was a highlight of my trading career of leveling up. Might have been 13, both of them. But give it all back. And then again, just this is a penny stock dilution machine. It will never go back to these levels. And CGC is just a large cap version of that. TLRY heading down to our must-hold support level, 160 to 165. Testing it to start this week. Clear weekly lower highs. TLRY has not confirmed a weekly uptrend in a very long time. There was one. A year. It's been a year without a weekly uptrend. Daily resistance. Got a little level at 174. Again, it's just slow bleed. Bulls must hold 160 to start this week. If we break 160, we are looking at all-time lows, 150 as the only level in play. ACB is a bit stronger thanks to a bullish earnings reaction, but it's giving it back as well. 510, key support the Bulls want to hold. Again, I can't look long on charts that are this week. CMPS psychedelic space, I have no interest. These charts are weak. CMPS confirmed a weekly uptrend, gave it all back. Potential monthly bear flag. Support is 622 and then 573. MNMD, I wasn't along. It was looking good here for 3 weeks. I stopped out. Break even, I was willing to let it ride. Stop out, nope, I'm wrong. Bears have full control still. Daily downtrend, looks like we got a resistance zone 629. Multiple tops there the past 2 weeks. If we break the daily lower highs, we zoom out and we just scout a weekly lower high. There's tons of space for it to form. So the key, crypto, cannabis, psychedelics, the highest risk, highest reward sectors in markets, they pop, they see massive pullbacks. You play the momentum, you sell into it, you don't bag hold. Again, everybody learns these lessons. I know there's a lot of bag holders listening to this video. I was one of them. I was a bag holder in the cannabis sector 12 years ago. Learned the lesson, never again. And now, bulls have to give me a reason. Give me a reason. Show me strength. I won't nail the bottom. I'm okay with that. I'll have momentum at my back when I enter if the bulls give me a reason and show me strength, show me volume, show me momentum shifting. But there is no sign of it whatsoever on these charts. IIPR, TCNNF, a head and shoulders above everybody else. AYRWF trying, still not there, still proving to do. Everything else extremely weak. Can it change? Yes. Do things change fast? Yes. But again, this sector, there's no jump all over it. All right. Feel free to ask any questions. Hope you have a great weekend. Do good things.